never makes me sad, I think. That's interesting. You know what makes me sad?
You do! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land, where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon!
Oh, I could play that soundbite every day for the New York Football Giants. If I only had a brain. Oh, that's more related to Joe Schoen, I guess. I keep seeing things, and Merry Christmas to all. And soon to be a Happy New Year. The Giants' final home game is this Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. It's supposed to be a rainy weather day. I've already sold my tickets for $1 again. But then, out of nowhere, someone goes to me, "Hey, Tim, do you want to come hang out in the suite on Sunday?" And I keep thinking to myself, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to put myself through this? Or should I just finish out the streak? I was there in the suite for the opening day loss, and maybe I could be there in the suite for the opening or the closing day loss as well. It's just, it just makes you. This whole season just makes you cringe. Giant beat writers make you cringe. Some of the people on Twitter make you cringe because we are now in excuse mode. We had one of the Giant beat writers come out with an article the other day saying that, don't worry, Joe Schoen has a plan. I'm not really sure what the plan is, and I love it because the title is Joe Schoen has a plan, even if it's hard to see right now. I think we can guess, Paul Schwartz, who wrote that article. It was from the media arm of the New York Football Giants, Paul Schwartz, disguised as a beat writer for the New York Post. What's this plan? You're probably going to finish a 2-win team. You're probably going to finish the worst season you are in your 100-year history. Even hearkening back to the dark days of the 70s, you are literally this is going to be the worst season ever. This is definitely the worst season that I've ever seen as a New York Giant football fan. 100%. But you have created a team. You over the last 3 seasons, Joe Schoen has put together a team that's so horrendous that there is no way that they can compete on a normal Sunday or Saturday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or any day whatsoever. The architect of this fiasco is Joe Schoen. You can blame Brian Dable, but like I said, Bill Parcells said it before. Listen, if I got to cook, you got to let me buy some of the groceries. The groceries were given to Brian Dable. We look at some of the worst free agent signings. We look at some of the worst cap management. It's almost like he is a content creator pretending to be a general manager. Let's just say it like it is. The mismanagement, you trade away
King of the almost sack.
And you disguise it as the fact that, well, we just want him to go to the right situation, and we're going to allow him to veto this trade. No, you never were, because of the fact that you didn't have enough salary cap money to sign a quarterback. This goes back to the last Judge Gettleman era, when they went 2 games without having 53 men on the roster because they didn't have the salary cap space. You were supposed to come in here, Joe, strip everything down, and build it back up again through the draft, and then augment it through free agency. And we love your drafts. Beavers, gone. McKeithen, garbage. DJ Davidson, lucky if he's a backup. People are in love with McFadden, but there's major issues with his missed tackles. Dane Belton should be cut. I don't know what people see in him. Dane Bellinger, third tight end at best. Cordell Flott, Jonathan Azuda, bye. Wan'Dale Robinson, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. And what we said before, people say I'm a genius, but there's no way you can screw up 5 and 7. You screwed up 5 and 7 with your building block picks in Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, whose fifth-year options are coming about the beginning of next season. So you basically whiffed on your you've done something, Joe, that few Giant GMs have ever done. And I believe there was only 7 Giant GMs. You whiffed in almost on the entirety of your 2022 class. Of your building block class. You have basically whiffed on the entire draft. Then you go to 2023. Owens, garbage. Jordan Riley. I love when people are like, well, they're really working him up. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Trey Hawkins. I love Trey Hawkins. Has one semi-good game, uses a bad shoulder tackle technique, and is out with a hurt shoulder. Eric, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. I don't remember. There's not a fumble. I didn't like Gray. Jalen Hyatt. I don't know I don't know what's going on with Jalen Hyatt. I really don't. I thought he was going to be something. John Michael Schmitz leads the league in penalties for centers and sacks allowed. You took him 57th overall. Yeah, I know Joe Tippmann went just ahead of him. But most of us said he is an undersized center who lost weight coming out of college, who didn't understand leverage as a wrestler, former wrestler. And Deonte Banks, who some people are calling a bust at that 24th pick. I think he's basically playing. He's giving up more completions, yes. But he's also not getting any safety help whatsoever because Pinnock and Pinnock and Dane Belton. Yeah, Dane Belton are just horrid. So outside of Banks, you probably whiffed on the entire 2023 class. And then I love it because we go into 2024, and I usually don't grade a draft until at least year 2 or 3. At least year 3. Darius, backup, if anything. Tyrone Tracy, he hasn't had a 100-yard game in how many games? Yeah, the claim to fame right now is he hasn't fumbled in 3 games. But you can't, he's rushed for 700 yards. You can't fault him because he is a wide receiver playing running back. So he's going to have his moments. Theo Johnson, like they said out of Penn State, all the potential in the world, just too bad he doesn't have the attitude to go with it. Then you have Phillips and Newman, who people drool over, do the Homer Simpson, and drool over these two guys who are part of a secondary that is giving up a league best over 70% completion percentage. Don't worry, they're really good. And I love Phillips because Phillips doesn't have a pass defense, doesn't have an interception, and the league is completing almost 80% of his passes against him for over 10 yards of completion. But somehow he's going to be that key cog going in the next year. Oh. And there's Malik Neighbors with his 97 receptions for 969 yards and 4 touchdowns. Still don't figure out how this guy has a yak just has a complete at one point in time his yards per reception was under 10. He's finally at 10. You would think by hook or by crook, by accident, he would break a big play. Haven't seen it yet. But there's still 2 games left in the season. So he's basically whiffed on his entire plan. Looks like it was to whiff on almost 3 consecutive drafts outside of Neighbors and Banks. And some people are still having their thought process and opinion on Banks. So as a general manager, you have potentially whiffed on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 out of your 24 picks, you whiffed on 22 of them. They're the bad trades. You go out, you never defensive end away from being good, but somehow you decided to give up assets and valuable salary cap money to Brian Burns, even though you asked your head coach and your defensive coordinator what they needed, and none of them said a defensive end. But of course, there's Joe Schoen. What about Brian Burns? And I love it because you also have another person out there speaking about the great season Brian Burns is having. And they list all these great stats, all these secondary stats, but we never talk about sacks. We never talk about impact plays that have actually changed a drive or a defense or a defensive stop almost this entire season. He's the ghost brother along with Kayvon Thibodeau. If we can just be honest, we've said it before. How many times are we going to wait and see Kayvon and Brian Burns disappear in a game together? Because that is their modus operandi, even going back to Carolina. I love it. James Williams had the best. James Williams follows professional football. Basically said, hey, listen, I don't know who Brian Burns is. And I loved it because at one point in time before the trade, when they ranked the NFL rosters, the Panthers were 32nd, the Giants were 31st. The Panthers trade their best player to the New York Giants, and the rankings come out 2 weeks later, and the Giants are still 31st, and the Panthers are still 32nd. So is this all part of the plan? Screwing up the salary cap. Is that part of the plan? Giving Daniel Jones all that money. Not staggering the contracts of Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas. Was that part of the plan? Not bringing back Saquon Barkley or Xavier McKinney, or even feeling out Xavier McKinney. Was that part of the plan? Not even looking at Julian Love. Was that part of the plan? And some of the guys that you have let go are now thriving outside of the New York Giants organization. Was that part of the plan? How a team can get steadily worse by the moment over 3 seasons, and there's any inclination that you want to bring this guy back, is crazy. And you talk about, and you sit there and you talk about, and I love it. Malik Neighbors believes the sky's the limit for the rookie class. We're all dogs. You know what I really wish? I just wish Malik Willis. I really do wish we had Malik Willis on this team, or a Malik Willis type on this team. I just wish Malik Neighbors spoke a little bit more eloquently, because you are the face of the franchise. Because you know what? Let's not remember what happened to old Yeller, because that dog got put down. Oh. I just, going back to Joe Schoen, you also gave Daniel Jones that horrid contract. And everyone kept telling me, Tim, it's not going to be that bad. You don't know what you're talking about. And I said, no, if it flames out, it's only going to set the team back 5 years. How did that work out? And not that I don't like Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll has a little piss and vinegar in him. I think he's got a little fire in him. But we needed someone like Brian Flores to come in here and handle this. We really did. I grew up watching Bill Parcells. I've told the story before that in the 86 season, my father did work with Wellington Mara, and we actually, and I basically grew up in the Meadowlands. Told this a million times, but we basically, Wellington invited my father out to the stadium. He asked Wellington if I could come. Wellington Mara very graciously said yes. So we're watching practice. I believe this was in November. We're watching practice, and we're in the tunnel. The tunnel kind of, back in the day, the tunnel, and it probably still does. Actually still does. The tunnel faces the goalpost. And Wellington told me, listen, don't leave the tunnel area. Just stay right here. And then Wellington and my father went off down the other end of the tunnel to do whatever they were doing. And, of course, being a teenager, I started, creeping up onto the field. And I've told the story a million times before. I've almost got to the corner of the end zone, and then I see someone walking towards me. So I'm just standing there, and it's Bill Parcells. And Bill Parcells looks at me and says, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm just watching practice." And he was like, "Who told you could watch practice?" I said, "Wellington Mara did." And then he looked at me and said, Did Mr. Mara say you could stand right here?" I said, "No." Actually, I said, and I'm fucking freaking out. And he goes, I said, "No, he did not tell me I could stand right here." He goes, "Where are you supposed to stand?" I said, "Back over there." And he just looked at me for what seemed like 15 minutes, but it was probably a couple seconds. Then he smiles, hits me on the shoulder, and goes, "You're all right. It's all right, kid." And I thought, whoo. And then he turned around and goes, "Now go fucking stand back where you're supposed to be." So I was like, that's what we need. This is what we need. Hold on, let's find this.
What's the matter, Big Easy? Is camp getting hard for you?
Don't you make your mind up with him. I'm trying to get the first down. I'll tell you, I'm not going to play them if they hold. They can sit their ass down or go somewhere else.
If you get your feelings hurt, that's too bad. I had this one kid, Lawrence Taylor. Now, every linebacker in the league thinks they're worth $900,000.
You want to run tonight, son, or you want to act like a rabbit? You want to run or you want to duck down? If you want to duck, just go over there and get onto the bench and stay there. You quit putting the brakes on. You cut it up in there, or I'll get me another punt return. I don't really give a Yeah, that's right. That's what you're going to be doing Sunday when we go to Seattle. You're going to be watching the game in New York on TV. Some of these guys got to get their head out of there around here.
I don't want you to get nervous, because that's not Michigan State down there. That's Philadelphia, okay, kid? Little honey bunch got a little bursitis on her knee back here. Tell him to throw up on his own time. You got to tell him we got a game today. Throw up after the game. You should have known pre-snap what to do there.
You guys Watch out, ball boys. Get down. Get the hell out of the way. More ball boys than we got players.
Tell you one thing, their ball boys throw a lot better than ours do. Dumb players do dumb things. I tell you, we can't play. We can't play. We're too stupid. Got a dumb team. I'm telling you, we stink. We can't do anything. We can't play defense, offense, or special team. That's the truth, too, fella.
Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame head coach. Multiple Super Bowl winner, Bill Parcells. And I love it because I remember a coach telling me once I was too stupid to play. That's why I always get that. That's why I always get that comment when people get wonky here, and I tell them they're too stupid to watch. That's where I get that comment from. But that's what we need. We need a no nonsense organization coming in here. We need something different. We need to tear it down. 7-2 is the worst thing that happened because then you go 2-5-1, 6-11. Now you're going to be a 2-15 team. And your roster is devoid of talent. People will talk about the plethora of salary cap money we have, but we don't have a quarterback even on the roster in 2025. We don't have a quarterback. And I love it because then I saw a giant beat writers like, well, Daniel Jones should go to Philadelphia. With 2 games less than the season, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles should pick up Daniel Jones, who's on the practice squad, and any team can take him. Yes, and bring him in with no time to get ready. Doesn't know the playbook and is questionable in regards to his playing ability, and you're going to drop him into Philadelphia.
Stupid giant Twitter posts.
That wasn't even a post. That was actually an article. We got to just tear it down. We got to start it. Joe Schoen does not have a fucking plan. I've said this before, if you bring back Joe Schoen, I quit. I've already started rolling out my Knicks stuff. I may start doing rollouts some Mets and Yankee stuff as well. I fucking quit. I'm done. Not only do I quit YouTube, I quit on as being a season ticket holder. You finish with it as a 2-win team, and you tell me Joe Schoen needs to come back and pick his own quarterback as you've had the worst season in the 100 years of the Giants, and it's gotten steadily worse, and you're going to bring in a rookie quarterback with a team devoid of offensive talent, and you think you're going to be better than a 3-win team, 4-win team next year? I'm telling you, I've said this before when that ink dried on that contract. 2028, 2029 is when the Giants will be good or relevant again. Those that do not know, go watch Knicks Unleashed. It's on this channel. I'm posting the videos on this channel as well. I'm posting everywhere that you can find podcasts. It's a lot of fun. I always tell people, listen, I was always been a huge basketball fan, and that is a fan channel. That is not going to give you, that'll give you the hard-hitting breakdowns of the New York Knicks, the good and the bad, but it's going to be with a big fan perspective. Because, like I said before, I love watching basketball, and I love the Knicks. Good, bad, or indifferent. At times, even when the Knicks do something stupid, they can't do anything wrong in my eyes. Oh, I don't know if we're going to do a stream on Sunday, so I might be at the game. I haven't decided that yet. But as always, don't forget to like, don't subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.